Hey everybody, JTO here, and I'm responding to a video by Goodfella, the YouTube user Goodfella, who recently did a video, I think yesterday, on the game called Fuck, Marry, or Kill, where you take three celebrities and you hypothetically determine which one you would have fuck, which one you would marry, and which one you'd push off a cliff. And of course, there were some radio personalities in Vancouver, the city that I live in, who played this game on air, and it produced, of course, the usual moral panic. It's a misogynist, and it promotes violence against women. One moral panic monger actually said that this promotes violence against women, which Goodfella repeated in his video. But what he didn't note is that that phrase, violence against women, is a piece of political jargon used by the grievance industry. When you hear someone in the media saying the words violence against women, if you are a rational English language speaking, logical, thoughtful person, that sounds like what they mean is violence in the world which happens to be impacting on women. Robbery and assault and any other kind of violent crime or personal violence, including violence between domestic partners. But that's not what it means. When you hear that phrase, what it means is specifically domestic violence. So if you collect all your, annual statistics of the number of people assaulted and sexually assaulted inside of domestic relationships, and then you talk about that number and you call it domestic violence, you're being rationally and accurately descriptive. But if you change the terminology and you call all of that violence by the political label violence against women, you magically, in everybody's mind, erase half of the victims. Because violence against women implies that this is all against women, right? Well, it's not even mostly against women. It's about half and half. Literally, it's so close that the margin of error makes it literally half and half. Most domestic violence is reciprocal. That is, in a violent relationship, you have both partners in the relationship initiating and receiving violence. The man is initiating it and the woman is initiating it. And they are both receiving violence from the other. That's a reciprocally violent relationship. And in the small fraction, which is smaller than the majority, of violence where you have a one-sided violent relationship where you have a primary aggressor and a primary victim, you know who most of the initiators of that violence are in the smaller fraction that is one-sided? Women are the majority of the initiators. Now, I'm not suggesting that women are more violent. I think this is a matter of socialization. I think it's a matter of expectations that we have. And I'm not even going to try to go into all the reasons. That's a much deeper video. Simply that, when we hear that phrase, violence against women, we are being told a political lie. We're being brainwashed. And if we fall into the cognitive trap of using that phrase without examination, we start to believe that domestic violence is a male-on-female issue, which it's not. You've got to look at the stats. Now, the person who said, well, this is especially troubling given the rise and the epidemic proportion levels of violence against women. Well, this is 2015. In 2014, the BC Justice Minister, a woman named Susan Anton, was challenged by Daisy Clare, a spokesperson for the Vancouver Rape Relief Shelter, saying that the ministry wasn't giving a crap, there was no political will to stop domestic violence or protect women, and despite the fact that there's an entire ministry dedicated to it, and there's $70 million of provincial funds which go towards it, plus an additional allocation of $5 million more in 2014. And Susan Anton said in 2014, I believe in May, at a public press conference, that the rates of domestic violence were 72% down since 2008. Despite the recent grouping of a number of high-profile killings that had been talked about in the media. Despite even that surge, that local surge in numbers, since 2008, there's a 72% drop. Now, there's more stats since then, And since I saw Goodfellas' video, I've been trying to find the actual stats online, and my Google foo obviously isn't what it could be, and I can't find any stats showing anything. I've even been on the Ministry of Justice website, and I've phoned them. They don't answer their phones, apparently. You can only leave a message. Why do I pay taxes again? But anyway, before this becomes an incredibly long and rambling video, violence against women, that phrase must be recognized as a political lie designed to brainwash and to mislead you into a false perception. And if we approach the problem of domestic violence with a false model, we can't solve it. Which means that those who promote this model don't want to solve it. They want to profiteer off the violence. If they wanted to actually reduce or eliminate domestic violence, they wouldn't be selling you a lie. They'd be actually addressing the reality to the public.